Persons with criminal records associated with convictions for minor quantities of cannabis will soon be able to have their records expunged following the passage of the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill 2023 in the St. Kitts and Nevis National Assembly. The bill was moved by the representative for constituency number 8, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, who is also the Minister of National Security. The amendment sought to expand the list of offences under which a convicted person could have their cannabis-related records expunged. In presenting the bill in the National Assembly, Dr. Drew placed context on the intent of the bill.
This government believes in equal opportunity, equity, and the rights for all, irrespective of any differences that we might have, whether it be along religious lines, cultural lines, sex, age. We believe there must be equity. And the Rastafarian community is a community that has suffered significantly, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but throughout the region. And therefore, we have to make sure that our laws comply with the High Court and make sure that we continue to stress that we should not discriminate and we should follow the law, because law is important. So the plan of this government is to support the cultivation and use of cannabis by adults in their private homes as their constitutional right. The High Court says that. If we have such plans, which are being accepted rapidly throughout the world, why would we continue to punish men and women who were convicted in the past of doing the same activities we plan to promote? This is a very critical matter, Madam Speaker. I have spoken about this multiple times on the political platform.
Leader of the opposition, Mark Brantley, sought to manage expectations over the bill because of what he described as complex issues.
For all the reasons that we have heard, the issue of cannabis is not simply a local issue. The banking issues have been referred to, the Honourable Member from number 7. We have heard the Honourable Member from number 11 make the very salient point that, notwithstanding what we do here today, the US government, for example, on an application for a visa may yet ask the question, have you had a conviction in the past? And you're expected to give a truthful answer. And then they may act accordingly. So I think we need to be careful, moderate in our language, so that the public gets a clear understanding of what it is we're seeking to do. And we don't be so ebullient and exuberant in our expressions that we send out there the misconception that tomorrow you can now apply for a visa and all will be well. You're going to go to America to marry your sweetheart because the thing's set now. No, the sweetheart will still have to come here, because we cannot dictate from this parliament what the US government or any other government may do. And so I think that the moderation of that language, so that we speak to our people in a way that our people understand that these steps are incremental.
The bill was also motivated by the High Court's 2019 decision in the Rassan Kofa Maccabee case, which he won on issues of constitutionality. The bill, therefore, was a step to ensure that the Constitution is not infringed in relation to the cultivation and possession of cannabis. Glenn Barth reporting for SKN Newsline.
Under the theme Enabling Sustainable Futures, Be the One to Make the Change, Republic Bank in January unveiled its 2023 Power to Make a Difference Partners PMAD, partners with the Eastern Caribbean Territories. PMAD is Republic Bank's overarching social investment program, built on the knowledge that the bank has the power to make a difference by empowering others to learn, care, and succeed. It is done through collaboration with the advocacy groups in the pursuit of building successful and sustainable societies. The in-person event was held in St. Kitts, with token handovers occurring in other territories of Anguilla, Dominica, St. Martin, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. PMAD Advisory Council member Pierre Liebert explained the introduction of the program to the East Caribbean Islands and the process of partner selection.
Given Republic Bank's Eastern Caribbean's unique structure of operating across multiple countries, the bank recognized the need to quickly augment its institutional knowledge of the diverse community development ecosystems, and to this end, the bank took the approach to engage key stakeholders in each territory. that were not affiliated with the bank to constitute an external advisory council. This advisory council had members that are all legitimate and experienced men and women who have excelled in various capacities and have demonstrated a true spirit of community and national development through non-profit sectors. The council represents decades of experience in grant writing, project implementation, community service, among other fields, allowing the bank to tap into decades of local knowledge and expertise and inject key insight into the program's decision-making processes.
The highlight of the event was the announcement of the 16 partners who will be working hand in hand with Republic Bank to spearhead social transformation in East Caribbean territories. 2 partners each were selected in Anguilla, Dominica, and St. Martin, 3 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Kitts and Nevis, and 4 in St. Lucia. The projects to be implemented throughout 2023 include green energy generation, entrepreneurship, equipping vulnerable persons with life skills and access to sustainable livelihoods, greater access to education, training and employment opportunities, reducing non-communicable diseases, and community development. Republic Bank EC Limited Managing Director Michelle Palmer, in applauding the new partners, captured the spirit of PMAD.
We live in a world that is in crisis due to environmental and socio-economic pressures, and all of this presents opportunities for participation by non-governmental organizations, charities, and civil society to try and ease the impact of this crisis on the world's population. Thankfully, these organizations, many of you in the room today, continue to take up the responsibility to find ways to inspire people to contribute to a sustainable and socially balanced world through the good work that is done. With all of the excellent efforts, your excellent efforts, I think we can continue to transform communities by advocating the rights of those with special needs, by empowering and challenging young minds and bodies, by caring and providing for the socially vulnerable and at risk, and by protecting our environment, by sowing the seeds of our future leaders. Republic Bank is committed to investing in projects that work closely with individuals and groups within various communities to fuel the spark and continue the movement in creating real sustainable change. The power to make a difference in the East Caribbean will focus on working together to help enhance the quality of lives of persons with disabilities, supporting healthcare programs, providing opportunities for young people to realize their truest potential through sport, education, literacy, culture, and the arts, as well as deepening our work in the communities through a wide-reaching, comprehensive staff volunteerism program.
Republic Bank is inviting everyone to follow closely of its Power to Make a Difference partners, and is hoping that through this, anyone from even the humblest beginnings can be the one to make the change. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Living in the Caribbean is like paradise until you try to sell or buy an item online. If only there was an online marketplace that caters to your region. Well, now there is. On Buy Sell SKN, you can easily buy or sell used and new items, browse for services, and it's completely free. Visit buysellskn.com, create your free account, sell your item or service, and get paid.
SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Mill House Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
Cabinet Secretary Dr. Marcus Natter reported that approval was granted for the adoption of the new National Land Management Strategy. According to the information he disclosed, the Ministry of Sustainable Development will soon begin a series of public awareness and education activities on the land and housing issues.
The Cabinet endorsed the Ministry of Sustainable Development's National Land Management Strategic Approach. The Ministry will conduct a series of communication and public engagement sessions to sensitize the public about their plans for addressing major land allocation challenges. Issues to address include, but are not limited to, double and triple booking of lots, resumption of payments for land, considerations for prioritized allocation to various demographics, identification of land for the National Housing Corporation-led Second Housing Revolution, and the policy on land for commercial development. Activities will include radio interviews, town halls, and a Land Matters Fair, which will be held on February 9th and 10th at the Ministry's compound at Bladen Commercial Development, Bastille.
The demand for land and housing on St. Kitts remains strong, but several administrative abnormalities needed to be rectified, a ministry official explained. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
A new restaurant, Zanzibar, opened at Pinny's Beach on Nevis over the weekend. At an opening ceremony, owner of the establishment, Ramesh Mulkanur, disclosed the story behind the restaurant.
My name is Ramesh Mulkanur. I am from St. Kitts, and I do have a beach bar on the strip called Zanzibar. And we used to have a lot of people coming in from Nevis, and they were every time tell, okay, we would like to do why don't you do something in Nevis? So I said, we are here now. We opened Zanzibar in Nevis with the support of the Premier and all the administration. Thank you.
Premier Mark Brantley lauded Mr. Mulkanur for his latest venture.
And I often say that the restaurant scene in particular in Nevis is growing, it's varied, and I think Zanzi is a wonderful addition to the beach scene here at Pinny's. So Ramesh, welcome. We look forward to you working with us.
Thank you.
And I'm particularly pleased that he's told me that he's already employed just about 12 people. So it means that the employment opportunities are growing. And the scene is getting even better here at Pinny's. As you know, we're doing some additional works here. So when we're done, we think that it's going to be the best place to party, the best place to eat, the best place to hang out in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So Ramesh, again, welcome. Thank you very much for investing in Nevis.
I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Living in the Caribbean is like paradise until you try to sell or buy an item online. If only there was an online marketplace that caters to your region. Well, now there is. On Buy Sell SKN, you can easily buy or sell used and new items, browse for services, and it's completely free. Visit buysellskn.com, create your free account, sell your item or service, and get paid.
SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Autoplus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Autoplus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Autoplus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Autoplus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
It's a typical Friday morning outside the renal unit at the Kingston Public Hospital. 16 persons with end-stage renal failure are waiting for dialysis treatment. The number pales in comparison with the 40,000 Jamaicans living with chronic stage 5 kidney disease. According to statistics, another 80,000 have been diagnosed with chronic stage 4 kidney disease. At KPH, they arrive on crutches, wheelchairs, and in one case, a patient was brought into the room on a stretcher with bags packed for the long day ahead. Sherlock King was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure when he was 15 years old.
In 1995, I was preparing to go to school a regular Monday morning, and I fainted. After that, they would take me to the doctor, and after some blood tests, they found out that I have end-stage renal failure.
And there are many others like him.
I wake up one morning and say around my ankles was swollen. I do some tests. They told me that there's an infection in my kidneys.
I think it was gas. So when I go to the doctor, they said me go do an ultrasound. And when me do the ultrasound, they said my kidney them falter.
Most of these patients are either diabetic or hypertensive or have both. For them, the treatment is a matter of life and death.
Right now I was thinking that me soon dead.
I know people who have kidney problem after me and I'm not here, them die.
The harsh reality, though, is there are more patients than dialysis machines in the public health sector. At the Cornwall Regional Hospital, 19 of the 21 machines are functioning. At the Spanish Town, there are 18, and at the Kingston Public Hospital, 16. The renal unit at the Kingston Public Hospital is currently treating approximately 90 patients. However, this is less than 10% of the persons who are on the waiting list for dialysis. In fact, at KPH alone, there are approximately 500 people on that waiting list.
I was on the waiting list about 10-15 years.
I used to come once a week and then somebody die and me get the next part, me get the 2 day.
I would say the same 9 years.
While some wait to get on the list, they are forced to seek private care, which is costly.
$20,000 for the 2 days. Was doing it the same Tuesday and Friday, and every month you have to pay at least $100,000.
It's not that I couldn't work, but when you went for the interviews, once you say you're on dialysis, then they say you're not an asset, you're a liability.
Some of the time when we feel like we're going cheap a day, wait up after that in the hospital.
In part 2, what's behind the increase in kidney disease among Jamaicans? Medical doctors weigh in. Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
Shawnee Miller-Weibo and her husband are expecting their bundle of joy any day now. And while congratulations have been pouring in for the happy couple, it has sparked discussion again on the law that does not allow Bahamian women to pass citizenship to their children. We canvassed the community for their feedback on the issue. The support to change the law was seemingly overwhelming.
I feel, regardless of the origin of a person, and if she's married, she's a Bahamian married to a foreigner, I don't see any reason why the child should not have Bahamian status. I think the mother should be able to pass on, the status to her child.
I'm of the opinion that women should have the right to choose whether their offspring is a Bahamian or not. So I support the equality of the women in that decision.
She should be able to pass on her citizenship to her child. We as Bahamians, we tend to go to the U.S. and have babies, and then they're automatically given a U.S. passport. So why not the same here?
While most individuals we spoke with today would like to see the law changed, they urge the government to ensure that when the new legislation is laid out, that there are no loopholes.
Of course, we want the proper documentation. If it requires DNA paternity testing, sure, I agree. Let's just make sure that it's all legitimate and above board, and the children actually belong to the Bahamian parents.
Now, what other procedures we will put them through in order to confirm that? I guess that'll have to be ironed out once the law is actually changed, but it could cause some confusion if it's not done properly.
A person wishing to remain anonymous declared that it's a crying shame that this conversation was sparked because of Miller-Weibo and her celebrity status. The interviewee says the issue should always be at the forefront of national debate until it is addressed.
My true feelings on this is that if my daughter was married to a foreigner, she would have to follow the law. And I don't think the law should be changed, and I don't understand why people are so concerned with the nationality of Shawnee's baby. Yes, she's a Bahamian, and yes, she brought notoriety or whatever to our country, but I don't think this law should be about any one person, and certainly not about Shawnee.
One woman with personal experience with this situation believed that it's time for the Bahamas to move forward.
My daughter is married to a foreigner. Within 6 months, the children had a Canadian credentials, that they became Canadians. He had issues and problems with even getting a residence here. Obviously, it's very antiquated, and yes, it needs to be amended. It needs to be intelligently looked at this particular time. We need to be in touch with the world. We're traveling all over the world. We're looking at laws and policies. Let's get with it. We're in 2023.
Tyler Simonet, Eyewitness News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in London on his first UK trip since the war began nearly a year ago. Zelensky will meet Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and address Parliament. Britain is one of Ukraine's biggest military backers, and it sent it weapons and equipment worth $2.5 billion. Jonah Hull's joining us live from London. Jonah, what's the significance of this particular visit at this time?
It's a rare trip away from Ukraine, of course, for President Zelensky, his first visit to the UK, and coming a fortnight or so before the anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It is perhaps a recognition, an acknowledgement of Britain's steadfast support for Ukraine since the invasion, cemented, of course, by former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, but very much continued under Rishi Sunak, and doubtless an opportunity for President Zelensky, not just a wartime leader, but now an absolutely relentless campaigner, to continue his campaign for international support for Ukraine, for that support not to wane, and indeed for that support to deepen. We have in the last few minutes or so seen live pictures of a plane touching down at Stansted Airport, a grey C-17, what looks like a Royal Air Force transport plane carrying President Zelensky. That's about an hour by fast-moving convoy or so away from Westminster here, where he's first expected to meet the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at 10 Downing Street, and then at some point, itinerary yet to be confirmed, Buckingham Palace says he will be meeting King Charles III. He's also delivering an address to both houses of Parliament inside the ancient Westminster Hall behind me. That's an occasion reserved generally for only the most significant and influential state visitors. And then later he'll finish his day, a busy day of course, meeting Ukrainian troops in the southwest of the country currently being trained by UK forces under a multinational training programme.
Jonah, thank you very much indeed. Just as you're talking there, we can see the live pictures from London Stansted Airport. I counted about at least 10 vehicles in that convoy taking President Zelensky to central London, where he's going to be going through that agenda that Jonah Hull has been talking about.
With his approval rating still among some of the lowest of his presidency, Joe Biden delivered his second State of the Union address. And despite still soaring high inflation, Biden declared,
"Backbone of this nation is strong."
Millions tuned in to watch Biden, who used his speech to highlight what he sees as his successes of the past 2 years.
The unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years.
But this State of the Union was different from Biden's last. This time, the Democratic president spoke to a divided Congress as he made the case for raising America's debt ceiling and protecting social programs from spending cuts. He was challenged by Republican lawmakers.
That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see.
Unfazed by the criticism, Biden sought to bridge Washington's political divide, turning to his opponents and using the speech to negotiate with them directly.
Let's stand up for seniors.
Biden also honored Tyree Nichols, the 29-year-old man beaten by Memphis police officers. As Nichols' mother and stepfather looked on, Biden urged Congress to invest more in police training.
Something good must come from this.
Codifying women's rights to an abortion was another priority.
Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it.
While Biden's speech focused mainly on domestic policy, he once again underscored America's support for Ukraine. And following the downing of a Chinese spy balloon after it crossed the United States, he issued this warning.
As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
But Republicans had their own rebuttal.
From out-of-control inflation and violent crime to the dangerous border crisis and threat from China, Biden and the Democrats have failed you.
President Biden used his address to reflect on his accomplishments and lay out his agenda for another term in office. It's been widely reported that Biden's senior aides are preparing for the president to announce his re-election bid sometime later this month. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Capitol Hill.
Four St. Kitts and Nevis match officials on Sunday received their badges as new FIFA match officials for 2023. They received their badges at the halftime of the President's Cup at the Warner Park on Sunday. The match officials are Shandor Wilkinson, Sanchez Bass, Reginald Gums, and Jaden Rouse. Malcolm Ramsey, head of the referees department of the SKNFA, lauded this milestone in St. Kitts and Nevis football.
It is indeed a great moment to be a part of refereeing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Lots have been happening over the past several years. But most importantly, we want to say commendations to the four brand new match officials who received their badge on Sunday evening at halftime in the President's Cup. That was, again, another proud moment for St. Kitts and Nevis. And also we want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to those who have already received appointment for 2023. It speaks volume. Mr. Chisti Basu and Mr. Hakim Harvey will be going to Guatemala for a seminar and academy respectively. And then we have 3 appointments to the Under-17 Championship. three of our new match officials, Sanchez Bass, Reginald Gums, and Jaden Rouse. Jaden Rouse, of course, being assistant referee, and Sanchez Bass and Reggie referees. So that is another good sign. And while we're speaking of that, some new persons will be featured in the Premier League this year, who worked fourth official primarily for most of the last season. And so, again, opportunities open up on the international stage for those who are international, and then the local person gets another opportunity.
Those who received their badges on Sunday are among 11 match officials who have been appointed FIFA match officials for 2023. The full list comprises Kimbell Ward, Trisley Basu, Trevesta Richards, Shandor Wilkinson, Reginald Gums, Sanchez Bass, Graeme Brown, Mario Parry, Tara Wilkinson, Lenroy Paris, and Jaden Rouse.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.